Hello. Hello. My name is Jeff. And once again, this is Infinite Jeff, where I read to you one page at a time from David Foster Wallace's seminal 1996 work, Infinite Jest. We're up to page 8. I think we're going to be here for a while. Applicants. Wouldn't be fair to the university community. He looks at me. And it'd be especially unfair to Hal himself. Admitting a boy we see as simply an athletic asset would amount to just using that boy. We're under myriad scrutiny to make sure we're not using anybody. Your board results, son, indicate that we'd be accused of using you. Uncle Charles was asking Coach White to ask the Dean of Athletic Affairs whether the weather over scores would be as heavy if I were, say, a revenue-raising football prodigy. The familiar panic at feeling misperceived is rising, and my chest bumps and thuds. I expend energy on remaining utterly silent in my chair, empty, my eyes two great pale zeros. People have promised to get me through this. Uncle C.T., though, has the pinched look of the cornered. His voice takes an odd timbre when he's cornered, as if he were shouting as he receded. Hal's grades at ETA, which I should stress an academy, not simply a camp or factory, accredited by both the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the North American Sports Academy Association. It's focused on the total needs of the player and student, founded by a towering intellectual figure whom I hardly need name here, and based by him on the rigorous Oxbridge Quadrivium Trivium circular model. Curricular model. God. A school fully staffed and equipped by a fully certified staff should show that my nephew here can cut just about any Pac-10 mustard that needs cutting, and that DeLint moved towards the tennis coach, who is shaking his head, would be able to see a distinct flavor of minor sports prejudice about this whole thing, CT says, crossing and recrossing his legs as I listen, composed and staring. The room's carbonated silence is now hostile. I think it's time to let the actual applicant himself speak out on his own behalf, Athletic Affairs says quietly, very quietly. This seems somehow impossible with you here, sir. Athletics smiles tiredly under a hand that massages the bridge of his nose. Maybe you'd excuse us for a moment and wait outside, Chuck. Coach White would accompany Mr. Tavis and his associate out to reception. Coach White could accompany Mr. Tavis and associate out to reception, the Yellow Dean says, smiling into my unfocused eyes. Led to believe that this has all been ironed out in advance from the, CT is saying as he and DeLint are shown the door. The tennis coach extends a hypertrophied arm. Athletics says, we're all friends and colleagues here. This is not working out. It strikes me that exit signs would look to a native speaker of Latin like red-lit signs that say, he leaves. What a whimsical non sequitur. I would yield to the urge to bolt for the door ahead of them if I could know that bolting for the door is what the men in this room would see. DeLint is murmuring something to the tennis coach. Sounds of keyboards, phone consoles, as the door is briefly opened, then firmly shut. I am alone among administrative heads. Offense intended to anyone, Athletic Affairs is saying, his sport coat. Page 8.